Hello, everyone. I am the Grand Geek Geezer, collecting and talking about comics since 1973. Today, I have Green Geezer conversation. Right. So today, basically, it's going to be right. Well, first time doing the intro. First, so today's going to be basically geek discussing with non-geek impressions of the movies, because the movies are such a new cultural thing. Ever since Iron Man came out, it's captured the general populace. And these movies, not only do they have to appeal to geeks like us, but they have to appeal to non-geeks like Vin. And there are questions and there are discussions and that they all have. And I think this is a pretty interesting way to go. So
Absolutely.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. And I'm really excited because I am definitely more of the movie geek guy than the comic geek. And I know we were talking in pre-production, and I want to jump right into this with you. The popularity of the MCU to the DC universe. I wanted to get your opinion on why you think, because in my opinion, the MCU universe, obviously cinematic universe, is far more popular, at least in my opinion, than the DC universe is currently. And as we were talking before the podcast, we were going through, like, when I was a kid, it was the opposite way around. Like, Superman is the most iconic superhero, period. Yeah. Probably followed by Batman, then probably followed by Wonder Woman. I knew all of them. Flash, like, you knew all of these characters before now it's Iron Man. I mean, I know you're a huge Captain America fan. I'm not going to disparage him at all, but I'm saying as a kid, like, I remember we talked about it. You actually correct me. It was Super Friends, Legion of Doom. What was it? The twins with the rings.
Yep, Challenge of the Super Friends, Wonder Twins, Dan and Jaina.
Wonder Twin. These were all. This was DC. These were not Marvel characters really. So why do you think that popularity has kind of skewed as we've gotten older in the mainstream?
Well, there's just so many different points. I guess let's start I guess in the 70s when this stuff started coming up more, right? They had the Superman, Christopher Reeves, the Wonder Woman television show, which was a hit, right?
Linda Carter.
Linda Carter, always thumbs up for Linda Carter. And you had, like I said, the Super Friends cartoon, Challenge of Super Friends, etc., etc. Okay, so let's start off. DC characters are older. Okay, Superman is given credit to basically being the first superhero, right? And the word superhero, right, started coming from Superman. So it's been our consciousness. DC has been in our consciousness since the 30s. So now we jump forward a little bit. Well, not going to jump forward a little bit, but back when they had serials in the theater, that's the like this were like mini episodic movies, and you have to come back next week, right? It didn't cost you $100 to take your family to go to the movies.
That's true too,
right? So they captured it. It was Superman, Batman, Captain Marvel, Shazam, whichever you want to call him. But so we go a little bit. So there were basic concepts from the 30s that translated easier to film, if you think about it, right? Put on a cape, you fake the flying thing. I mean, they had the George Reeves Superman, right? Same thing, Wonder Woman, just the thing. Batman, just the thing. With Marvel, you think about their top characters, it's a little more complicated. With the Spider-Man costume, right? His whole face is covered, right? He has to look muscular and yet agile at the same time. And then the web thing. He's spinning, oops, it was like a microphone now. He's swinging from building to building. Really, really hard to portray. In the 60s.
Really quickly, Carl. So it's not really quick on the Spider-Man thing. Is it true that the reason that he was given a mask is it so anybody could be like you didn't equate him to, it could be any ethnicity, male, female? Was that a thought behind masking the character, or
it was just a look? But you also have to understand, and I will get into the relatability. Spider-Man was unique, where Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman were all adults. Spider-Man was a teenager. So he didn't want people to see him as a kid. and he really wanted to protect his identity. So that was it. But anyway, that was a long way of me going. That even the effects, Iron Man. Think about 70s technology. How are you going to portray it? I mean, oh my God, look what they did with the Hulk. I mean, they did the best they could at the time, but he didn't talk. And Hulk in the comic books talked, right? No. Hulk was able to make these fantastic jumps and all these fantastic feats of feet. And all he did was beat up on gangsters and,
Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah, Lou Ferrigno. I mean, he did a great job, but we were limited. Let's fast forward now, right, to the modern age, and it starts with the most successful independent film of all time. Iron Man is actually an independent film. Marvel financed it themselves.
Really? That I did not know.
Yeah. And they had the task of, all their main guys were licensed off to Fox and Sony, Spider-Man and the X-Men. And they wanted to get into the movie business. And they look, well, what do we have the license to? You have Iron Man, Captain America. These were not actually their A-list, believe it or not. Now, of course, they are.
Sure.
The movies. But there you go. The right timing is there. The right technology to make it look credible, and the relatability, right? Iron Man, not everybody can be a genius and be a millionaire, right? But at his heart, he wanted to be a better person. He made weapons of war, and he wanted to stop that, right? He wanted to be a protector. Very, very grounded. Plus, he had the heart. He could go anytime, basically. Right? Very relatable. Don't get me wrong, I love Batman, but Batman, even though he's relatable, it's all about vengeance. It's all about my parents were killed and I want to avenge them. That's all it is. Here, Stark wants to be a better man, right? And there you go. Very similar with Captain America, which I think that, by the way, I love the origin way better in the movie than I do in the actual comics. They added layers to it. They nailed the character.
You mentioned that. I found that interesting. And I was actually going to ask you, I'm sorry, you were just getting into it. Why did you feel that? Like, why? Where did the comic leave you wanting more that the movie filled those gaps?
A lot of times, even when they call it retcon, when they update, because you're starting in the 40s and, you're going up to 70s, 80s.
Sure.
This is what they captured in the beginning of the origin story. The scientist really became more like a father figure, right? In the comic, he was just the scientist, basically, right? They added layers to him, and here you could tell it was sort of implied that he was, I guess, Jewish. It was implied, right? And his reasons for trying to do his contribution to the war and his concern about his serum being militarized, even though he's doing it for the military, right? Because he really wanted a good man. He didn't think the serum would make them a good man. He knew he needed a good man. And here we go. He was just representing, just trying to be a good man. And then that spirit of never giving up, which is really key to the character, right? Never give up. That gives you hope. That says a lot. When he's skinny punk, and he's in the alley, he's getting his ass kicked. He's like, I can do this all day.
Yeah, right? You just beat me to it. That was his tagline. I can do this all day.
I can do this all day. So I made it very relatable. The Marvel characters in all were very, very relatable. They have fantastic things going about them, but very, very relatable. In the comic books, they were the first ones to use real cities. Right?
Yeah, and that's something we also talked about.
That's what we talked about, right? It's more relatability. Spider-Man, not only was he a teenager and in high school, okay,
in Queens, right? Was it in a Queens high school?
In Queens High School, it was New York, right? In Queens High School, he since his uncle died, he had trouble with his aunt, making the rent money. Oh my God, we've all gone through that, unfortunately. He had to worry about putting money on the table, sure. And ironically, he found a way to put money on the table by defaming his alter ego. Right, because the publisher of the newspaper hated Spider-Man.
Yep,
and that's why he paid for the photos of Spider-Man just to disparage him. Right,
so I forgot about that.
That's that losing aspect. It's very relatable, right? Spider-Man stays for his friends. It's almost cliche now, but his friends, it was new at the time. His friends somehow become the villains, and now he's fighting his friend. So it's more than just the Joker, who's a great character fighting Batman. This was his best friend, who's now the Green Goblin or a friend of his father, whatever. You know what I mean? It's always personal on some level, which was, again, very unique. And here's a big thing, too, that the movies captured, right? Even in the first Iron Man movie, if you remember, Iron Man, I think he used Captain America's shield to prop something up. really quick. Yeah,
Yeah,
he was right. He was using his shield to prop something up. You know, you're in let's say a Daredevil comic, and suddenly there's a panel Spider-Man swings by. You know, they didn't even stop say hello. He just saw him. You know, or sometimes he did just drop in and then just left. Superman and Batman, they never did that. They you know, older comic, older styles, right? Superman was in Metropolis, Batman was in Gotham, and they only met in a comic called World's Finest, and like that was it. Nothing else like existed. You know, Spider-Man's fighting something, and like, oh, you better call the Avengers. And like, no, they're not. They never did that stuff in DC and Marvel when they started the movies. I mean, they had a plan, and they had a consistency, and they brought that aspect in because you're watching a movie and you're not realizing, wow, all these chapters are connected. They're all in the same universe. You can watch them independently, but if you watch it all together, you see an overall arcing story. Classic comic book.
You just pressed on something. You said that Batman and Superman met in what was it, World's Finest?
Yeah, every month.
Was their meeting, because obviously in the cinema it was adversarial at first. Like Batman thought that he has to protect this someone with that much power can't go unchecked. And it was adversarial until obviously, you know, Wonder Woman kind of gets in the middle there, and now she's like shows them all kind of, you know, how they all need each other to fight. I forgot what the character was that
it was
created.
It was Doomsday.
Doomsday.
Yeah.
Was the comic similar, or was it just a brief encounter
No. Back then, it was sort of like, you know, we're friends. You know.
Okay.
No big deal, basically. And that's, you know, 40s, 50s kind of thing. Later on, when Batman became darker in the 70s and the 80s, it got kind of cool actually. Batman did. It's funny. As different as they are, they both believe in the sanctity of life. They will not kill. Right. That's why Joker's still running around, whatever like that. And that's the bond in their friendship. They won't kill. And Superman trusts Batman enough to, let's say, leave him with the last ounce of kryptonite. And Batman will keep it because why? Because Batman is like, yeah, you have a lot of power, and one day I might have to take you down. In fact, you're gonna laugh at this, but there's a story. There's two actual stories where Batman had conceived of a plan to take down the Justice League.
I saw an animated series.
That's taken from that comic.
There was an animated series, and I was like, why? And it was exactly that. He had a way to take out the entire Justice League.
Yep. That was called Tower of Babel, whatever. And Batman created another robot called Failsafe in case he got taken over, just to take over him. It's like, listen, if you're a DC fan,
that got pretty dark, man. I was like, dang.
It is. You got to watch the cartoons. The cartoons are what the movie should be, and the movies are more what you expect the cartoon to be. That's another thing. Marvel, very consistent. There's no like separate Joker movie. As excellent as that was, that whole Joker thing is a whole separate like universe kind of thing. And then I didn't even watch the more Lady Gaga, a musical, a Joker musical.
Oh, the Part Deux or whatever it was.
Yeah, whatever that is.
They got universally panned.
Yeah. Well, you know, Marvel didn't do anything like that because that's not, you know, it's confusing to the fan. What are you seeing now? What is it? Where's Batman? Where's it's confusing. And if it's
where is it? Because we talked about it earlier. When you go to, I think, Disney owns the Marvel universe. If you go to their app, they have the whole Marvel, the MCU, but they'll actually break it down as to the sequencing into how to watch this. And if there's a movie, as you just described, that it's almost like, in a way, it's not a comic movie, but the third Halloween movie, if everybody remembers that, the actual Halloween with the Season of the Witch, which had nothing to do with any of the other. It's like, what are you doing here? Or the Jason Bourne movie that had Jeremy Renner that does not have Matt Damon in it, but it's like, why? What do you do? It's like, either don't do the movie,
right,
or do something. Don't do that, and you can't follow because it's like, how does this follow into what I've already seen or what's coming next? And that's what I think we spoke about this earlier. The new Batman with Robert Pattinson, and then the Penguin series.
Right.
Have you seen anything where that? Because I haven't seen that there'll be a second Penguin series, which led me to then surmise it somehow will tie into another Batman movie with Robert Pattinson, because the Penguin series essentially is the rise of that character, how he becomes how he actually becomes the Penguin. But and you want a second season, but they said there wouldn't be one. It would. Is it supposed to lead into another Batman movie? Is there anything you've seen? Or...
I don't know if it's supposed to lead, but
Okay.
I do believe they're going to stick with him, and he should be in the next Batman movie. But Gunn is going to take over, and he's going to incorporate him more into this comic book universe. I mean, for example, Gunn who did Guardians of the Galaxy, right? All 3 movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he has an idea, right? He's already presented himself, and little spoilers, but there's nothing. And then one of the scenes where Metropolis is getting all torn up, there's a sign for Gotham City, like X amount of miles, right? There's another quick scene with Peacemaker. Have you seen the HBO series?
Yes.
Okay. He's doing an interview commenting.
Not a huge Cena fan, but it's okay.
Oh, he chews the stories are so funny to me, and he chews it up like nobody's business. It's fun. It's fun. But he has a quick cameo, but it's not a big deal. But he establishes that we're in the same universe. In fact, I'm seeing that, and I haven't seen the season premiere yet, but I'm going to. But supposedly in the end of the first season, where he had the Justice League in shadow at the end of the he replaced them with the Justice Gang. Yeah. So he's trying to make a more of a cohesive universe kind of thing.
Interesting. Which actually brings me. I want to tie to something else that confused me, and I don't know if they're even going to play it. Black Adam.
Yeah.
Because at the end of Black Adam, where he states there's nobody here that can confront me, who shows up but Henry Cavill's Superman to say we need to talk. Is that going anywhere, do you think, or was that just not successful enough to? Obviously, Henry Cavill's not going to be Superman anymore. I think that's been established.
Oh yeah.
Well, at least from everything, there's a new one. But was that Black Adam just not successful enough to keep that storyline going?
It wasn't successful enough, and they DC sort of been a problem in their own thing. Well, first of all, as much as I'm liking Corn Sweet Superman right now, that Brock and Cavill would have been really nice to see. Right? Unfortunately, we're not going to see it. But here you go. It's not successful. You know why it's not successful? Because you have Captain Marvel movies or Shazam movies. I forget which one they called it. And Black Adam is, Captain Marvel's or Shazam main enemy. That's his main antagonist. That's it. And here you are giving him his own movie. Nobody really knows who the hell he is. And you're doing it from the villain perspective. And his rival, his nemesis, Captain Marvel, is nowhere to be seen. It's a mess. They just throw the Justice Society at you, which is different from the Justice League.
Yeah, because they threw these characters that I'd never seen, like the guy was Hawkman, and then it was the character that's played Pierce Brosnan's character.
Oh yeah, Dr. Fate. Yeah,
so it's all these characters. I'm like, but then you introduce Dr. Fate, but he doesn't make it. Hey, if you haven't seen it so far, that's not my fault, people. You should have seen the movie. He does not survive through that movie.
No.
And Black Adam, at one point, you're thinking he was out for vengeance, but he really wasn't. He was a slave. Like when you go back to kind of how, and then when they realize, I guess, how he was using the power that was given to him, they took it back from him and enslaved him. If I might have messed a little bit about that.
No.
I remember. And then, but everybody thought that's why they tried to find him. Was it Kandahar? Was because they thought he would be their hero, and he tells them, I'm not a hero. I'm not your hero. But there was really no until you see Superman at the end, you say, okay, here's his main. This could be his main antagonist because
right.
They
took a storyline from the comics that was pretty good. The Justice Society is sort of like the predecessor to the Justice League. Justice Society formed like in the 30s and the 40s, that kind of thing, and. It were the older versions of the Flash and other guys like Dr. Fate, who's like Doctor Strange, as you gather, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was fine, and it was a good series. But even they eventually brought in Captain Marvel or Shazam because that's his main thing they brought up. And yes, he is wonderfully complicated, right? He's a slave. He loves his country, but he does not care about life, especially if you're not you know, part of his country.
You learn that real quick when he shows up in that movie.
You know?
Absolutely.
And they just focused on him, and I understand, but then you have I guess the villains in this case would be the Justice Society, the heroes in a turnabout thing, but there's not much on them, and they become weaker, and you see how powerful he is. You're like, come on, they can't stop this guy.
No,
you know.
But isn't it the same? It's the Shazam that gets him. It's that word that gets him either.
Same wizard.
Yeah,
it's the same guy.
So if he so that now he said it and he became the scrawny guy that they in prison.
Yep.
But then they had to get him to say it again to become black. So it's like, but then I'm thinking, well, as I'm watching the movie, I'm like, well, why is there no reference? There's no Shazam reference at all. I'm thinking, was he not around yet? Is it?
He was around. I think the problem they had with the movies at this time, it was coming towards the end of it, was each movie was its own entity, which is a problem because Marvel's doing so well and everything is integrated, right? And then here you go, you're bringing the stuff up and it's not.
Now, are the comics also separated, or the stories interrelated, but they're just not doing the movies that way?
The Martin comic is related. So if something happens, you'll see a lot more crossover. Justice Society, or sort of like a legacy team where the older heroes are teaching the new generation. So that's something that was lost a little bit in the movie. No, a lot in the movie. But they just you just throw the villain and you want everybody. I guess they were just hoping on The Rock to do it. But you really should have just done it from the hero's perspective and just give them like equal time. And I think it would have been a better movie that way. But you definitely need a Captain Marvel. You need to explain Shazam. It just doesn't.
Because like if you see like even the Suicide Squad movies, it's like I'm trying to figure out, well, how do they tie into? Because then there's the Jared Leto Joker is in those movies,
right?
So how are they tying into like it? I think that's what like the MCU. I guess maybe answer my own question. These, like you said, they seem to all tie in to tell a longer, bigger story, whereas the DC movies, where they can, they don't. And then there's too many of these other movies that are like they're not even spin-offs, they're just standalones that don't tie into anything else. So you're like, it's almost like, is that why people maybe won't invest the same time? Because it's like this is just this, and it won't tie into what's doesn't MCU, don't they have like a map out already to like 2029?
Yeah, they do. They do, and they cut back on their movies. You're not going to see another movie this year. I think there's only 2 more scheduled for next year. The new Spider-Man movie and the new Avengers movie. I'm not sure. I think for DC, I'm pretty sure they're going to do a Supergirl, which I have a whole other problem with.
Yeah, a lot of people have a problem with that.
You're not
the only one. I know you brought it up on your initial pod. Yeah, a lot of people have a problem with how that will fly.
But what DC is doing is that they're late to the party. They're rushing a lot of things instead of taking their time. And people are used to seeing a cohesive universe, and it's only now that they're getting better at doing it.
Better late. Look, if they do it, there's a lot of fans out there that I think that's what it is. If they feel it's a disjointed storyline or not an interconnected one at all, it's hard to. And then you're only going to get the fans who you'll get your diehards, but you might only get the fan who likes that story. Like, oh, this was a story I like. The Suicide Squad angle, and plus, in my opinion, personally, I think the Marvel movies as a whole had far better actors across the line. I mean, I think DC wasted some really good actors in some of them. I mean, was it Pedro Pascal in that Wonder Woman 84? I mean,
it's funny. He hated the way he looked without his mustache so much that he swore he's never shaving it again, and that's why he has his mustache on in Fantastic Four. It's kind of funny.
It was such it's like movie. You're watching this movie, and it's like, and you have some really great, awesome. But look at the Marvel movies.
Yeah,
it's Downey. It's, I won't go through them. You got Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner, Mark Ruffalo.
They all nailed it.
It's just the main Avengers. Those are just the.
They all nailed it.
What's the guy who I'm drawing a blank on? The guy who plays Loki.
Oh, Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston. It's just on. I mean, Anthony Hopkins as Odin. I mean, where are we? Rene Russo. It's like you can go on, and even the bit actors were good actors. Colby Summers was the.
Maria Hill.
But
here's a quick funny about Tom Hiddleston. He originally tried out for Thor. Right. And he saw Chris Hemsworth. And he was like, okay, you're Thor. No, not a problem.
Well, that makes sense. I think I mentioned this in a pre-production discussion. It was I think it was what's the guy? Krasinski from why am I drawing a blank on his first name? He was from The Office.
The Office.
I used to actually work with his uncle, Leon. He was in the Benghazi movie. Why am I drawing a blank on his first? He's married to Emily Blunt.
I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
Why am I drawing a blank on his first name? But he
Geezers.
He tells the story and where he was trying out for Captain America.
Oh, jeez.
And then he's putting on the costume and he sees Hemsworth walk by. Chris Hemsworth walk by. He starts taking the costume off. He's like, "Yeah, I'm good." He's like, "Yeah." And obviously, who did they get to play it? Chris Evans, who, for all those people who said they don't overlay characters, he was for me, he was the Flash. He was not
Human Torch.
The Torch.
Yeah, Human Torch.
In the ill-fated. I saw your review on it. I haven't seen the new Fantastic Four yet. Did they get it right? Sounds like they did.
You're gonna like it.
Yeah,
They're starting the next
I saw your review on it.
They're starting the next big story, and you're gonna like it. I mean, it's controversy with Robert Downey as far as the Doctor Doom character. I mean, just so you know, Doctor Doom is basically the number one bad guy in the Marvel universe. Believe it or not, it's not Thanos. It really is Doctor Doom. He's complicated, kind of like Thanos, because he's not just a supervillain. He's a king of a country. So you can't exactly just beat him up and throw him in jail.
Now, is it true that what people are saying about the whole Tony Stark, Doctor Doom? And I maybe haven't heard this, but it's out there that they go to the scene when he goes when he's looking. They're looking for the Pym particle, and he goes back and he goes to the army base with Captain America, and he meets his dad.
Okay,
and his dad is saying the wife was pregnant in that movie. But there's the look on Robert Downey's face that seems puzzled. And they're trying to say that Tony Stark was adopted by the Starks, but their kid, the actual kid they had, was Doctor Doom. And who messed with the timeline was Kang. Is any of that make any? I mean, it does. It sounds like it could be something that someone would make up, but is it even? It's just a theory that I saw online.
It's possible. It's possible. It's the first time I'm hearing about it. It's possible because, look, Doctor Doom and more particularly Kang, his origin is very, very complicated. He might be a variation of Doctor Doom, and there's other variants of Doctor Doom that he might be, but that theory might hold some water, because at the time, I'm not sure if they had the Fantastic Four, and Reed Richards is, like, believe it or not, supposed to be the number one brain, Mr. Fantastic in the Marvel universe, right? Or at least equal to Stark. And then after that, it's Doom. So these guys are on the same level intellectually, but they didn't have the Fantastic Four at the time, so maybe they were going to use Iron Man as that thing. Maybe his parents do that. I mean, it's possible. It's not the most outrageous thing that
It also be just people who have too much time on their hands trying to just come up with, because Tony Stark looked puzzled when his dad tells him that the wife is about to give birth, because then they started breaking down. Well, he wasn't born until this time, so how could she be pregnant?
They were going to go that way. Maybe they were going to go that way. I don't know if they would go that way now. They don't have to, but that's one way to do it. I mean, I guess they want to explain his intelligence. I mean, like I said, Doom's complicated because he's as smart as Richards. That makes him the smartest Stark. And The
But what
scenes
do
like
you think of him being the same character, like Robert Downey Jr.? He was Iron Man, and now he's Doom.
I don't
Does that
I don't have a problem with it.
okay? I
As
just
long
didn't see it because he was such an obviously an iconic character in the MC. I mean, throughout the entire series. And now when he was unveiled at, I think it was at a Comic-Con that they or
yeah,
somewhere they unveiled him.
yeah.
I never really actually spoke to you about your reaction to, or even what
Oh,
you have seen fan reaction being
shock.
to him being named.
I was shocked, but
Okay.
I could go with it because now that they introduce the multiverse, different dimensions where any possibilities, it's yeah, he could be a Tony Stark that went the route of Doctor Doom, or he could be Victor Von Doom altogether. They were insisting that he was Victor Von Doom altogether, which is fine. He's just intelligent. He was I was going to say it. I say it like in college. Him and Richards would argue over stuff more advanced than what even the professor knew. And what Doom had wanted to do, his mother was burned at stake as a witch because she was a gypsy, and he wanted to. This is basic comic stuff. He wanted to invent a machine to traverse the dimensions to rescue his mother. And Richards looks at his notes and stuff, and he says, "Wait a minute, you missed a computation here." And Doom's greatest weakness is his vanity and his ego, and he refused. There was an explosion, and because Richards was right, and Von Doom, there's different theories. His face was totally disfigured, and that's why he put the mask on, or he's so vain, he has a tiny scar, and he puts the mask to cover it because it can't be, and no one must ever see his face. Goes back to Latveria's country, studies sorcery, so he's like on footing now with Doctor Strange. So he's as smart as Tony Stark, Reed Richards, and also he's master of magic. So he's a big time threat.
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds like now who would be his main?
Oh, it's a Fantastic Four. It's Richards.
Is it always been? And so is that you still see that's being has anybody ever been introduced in the comics as someone? Is it always been the Fantastic Four battling him, or did someone else enter the?
Well, that's the main thing because that's where he first appeared.
Sure,
and he has this thing against Richards, right? But Doctor Doom's such a great character. He takes on the Avengers. He takes on
because in the movie also Reed Richards gets Sue, who one of the versions. I don't know about this one, but in the one with Jessica Alba,
that was a bad movie decision.
It was horrible, but the theory, it's kind of some of what you're saying, the similarity, the competition between the two of them. The vanity of Victor Von Doom, but that he wanted Sue and she was with. How can you not pick me, but you pick the geek?
Now you want to hear how well, yeah. I mean, he could do that, but that wasn't it. But what they did in the comics, and I apologize, it's going to sound like really crazy, crazy. There's a time where Richards is in Von Doom's body. I forget why, right off the top of my head. Sue knows this, and so she's okay with it. Except she gets pregnant again, and they have a daughter, and Doom, basically, I don't know how he negotiates. Doom gets his body back and wants to name her Valeria after his mother, and they name her Valeria after his mother. So technically, it's even though Reed's mind was in the body, it's genetically Doom's daughter, and they raise her with Franklin.
I'm sorry, that's awesome.
And she's the genius. That's
awesome.
It's TV novella stuff, but yeah,
can only be. I'm saying this is what it's about. I mean, it's like this is why people follow it because it's like it's like almost like anything you could think of as being something that would be even most sane people might say that's ridiculous. But that's why we love to be in that world at times because sometimes it's like what if I could do this?
Right.
I mean, someone actually puts pen to paper and then paper, words to film, and you see it, and that's why we love this, and it's one of the reasons why. I mean, I was never a huge comic book fan growing up. One of the ones I actually did like the most is Submariner. I did like the character and his comics the most when I was growing up, and then the X-Men. When they had the weird like I think one of the movies did it, the black and yellow out, like the yellow outfit. That they all looked the same. It was they all had the same kind of color outfit on.
So you like the Outcasts?
Is that what it was?
Outcasts, yeah, because Namor is half human, half Atlantean.
Yeah,
doesn't belong to either world.
It kind of fits in. That's what I am, so it might as well be that I like the Outcast. Yeah, I did. I enjoyed those growing up, and then got into, obviously, when the movies came out, and really enjoyed and always do. I'm glad we were able to do it. You had me on this episode, and look to be on many more going forward. But I love speaking with people like you who are knowledgeable about. And we're seeing movies that came out 20 years ago, but these are based on characters that had been written, especially the DC characters, as you said, almost 100 years ago, that these characters have been developed. And to see and to speak with someone and hear about, the justice or injustice that they're doing to these stories will always fascinate me, because I'm a fan. And again, thank you for having me on, man.
Oh man, I love talking about them. I love the fact that I can just share this with other people, and people getting a glimpse of what I enjoyed on paper. Now it's on the screen, so I'm enjoying that.
It's just the tip of the iceberg, people. We're just getting started. It's just the tip of the iceberg. We got to up our game for you a little bit.
No,
I was able to.
You don't have to be an expert. That's what I like, because
you are. That's you're the Grand Geek Geezer, my friend.
I never grew up. Anyway, that being said, if you like what you heard, please subscribe, and also click below. And also, don't forget, we have our Diamond Geezers, and we have here the Gang Green Geezer, and we're ever expanding, so who knows? Anyway, so thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you guys later.